everyone. I'm Catherine Martin, founder of myQuietTime Ministries. And every day I have the privilege of meeting alone with the one who actually created me, who made the world. His name is Jesus, and He is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And this is myQuietTime. These days I have been immersed in the promises of God. I have been drinking them in and holding them close to my heart. Over the last 3 years, I have endured such devastating times, like watching both my mother and father go home to be with the Lord, and so much more. I have had to surrender so much of what is most dear to my heart. And in the midst of that, God has brought me closer to Himself through His promises. I have realized that in the midst of everything, He has a gift that is great and precious. And you see it in 2 Peter 1, verse 4. Listen to these words. And because of His glory and excellence, He has given us great and precious promises. These are the promises that enable you to share His divine nature and escape the world's corruption caused by human desires. Oh yes, the promises are great and precious, and they are a gift from the Lord. They help you find hope when you need it most. I love what Edward Lee, a Puritan writer from the 1600s, says about God's promises. Lee says the promises are the grounds of our hope, the objects of our faith, and the rule of prayer. We hope for what God has promised us because we are unable to look for anything besides what He has already declared He will bestow. If we hope for the things the Lord has promised us, our hope is solid. Without God's promises, we are either hopeless or overly hopeful. I think His words are very important for us. We want to have a solid hope, and He is saying the promises are essential for us in providing the ground and foundation of our hope. So often, we want what we don't have, or we have what we don't want. And we hope for this or that to happen. And a lot of times we don't seek out God's promises in relation to our life. And here Lee is saying without God's promises, we are either hopeless or overly hopeful. That is a good word to think about today. He goes on to say that we can believe what is promised because of the one promising it. Oh yes, that would be God Himself. God is faithful, and He is a promise keeper. And I love Lee's words when he says, whatever is believed without a promise is only presumed. God is not looking for presumptuous Christians. No, He is looking for faith-walking Christians with His word as the object of their faith, not their own speculations or thoughts. Lee also points out that God's promises are the rule for our prayers. And to me, this shows me another great reason why God's promises are so precious and great and such an amazing gift from God. He goes so far as to say that we don't have a prayer without the promises of God. I have been thinking so much about these things for my own life, and I am realizing more than ever just how much I absolutely need the promises of God. So, dear friend, how about you? Have you discovered the promises of God to be the ground of your hope, the object of your faith, and the rule for your prayer? I encourage you today to make the most of the great and precious promises that are given to you by God because of His glory and excellence. Oh Lord, thank You for Your promises. May we make the most of this amazing gift from Your word. And that's my quiet time this week. God bless you as you continue on in the great adventure of knowing Him.